Craftsman days are here at Lowe's with big savings on the tools you need. Save $100 on the Craftsman V20 6-tool Power Tool Combo Kit, now at $199. No matter what the project is, Craftsman's high-quality, high-performance products empower you to build on. Stop by your nearest Lowe's store and check out the full line of Craftsman tools today. Valid through 6/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
So, you just started using LinkedIn Premium. Now what? Well, on your premium company page, you noticed around 7.5 times more page engagement and 5 times more page views. Well done. And now, new clients are messaging you. All because you're using LinkedIn Premium, which helps you get the business growth you want. Think big, small business. Think big. Start your free trial at linkedin.com/premium small business. That's linkedin.com/premium small business.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Who's the Bitch,
everybody?
Who is it?
Do we need to find them? We're going to find them.
I'm going to root out those bitches. We're going to hunt you down.
We're going to get them. We're going to get them. Yeah, that's the energy we're going into this episode with.
That's us.
Hi. Silly. We're just being silly.
It's me, Kara Klang.
It's me, Jackie Zabrowski.
And, you know, you guys, we just love getting all your bitchy stories, but up top, we like to shoot the shit a little bit. And we hung out yesterday.
We did in real life.
We hung out. Jackie had a glorious Springsgiving party that was on Easter, on 420 Easter.
420
on
Easter.
Hitler's birthday, 420 Easter.
Oh, yes.
So many major days converging on one. And they actually were kind enough to have a kid-friendly party. So I was able to bring my kids, which was so cute because my kids really got along with Sina's kids, who's another LPN podcaster here. You guys should listen to the Foreign Report if you're into foreign news and such. And foreign. What news isn't foreign?
What's going on over there?
All of the news that is involved with us and foreign powers that hate us. I'll say that. That's what I meant.
Thank you, though.
Just a clarification. It's about us too, and we're the worst. But
don't worry, I brought all of my eggs with me to work today, and I'm not talking about uterinely. I am talking, or I guess fallopies.
Jackie bought, I would say, a criminal amount of eggs, like an insane amount of eggs. My kids were over the fucking moon. They were hidden. I took them to an Easter egg hunt last week. That was because it was the week before, and it was just at our rec center, like a local rec center. And so they're doing this for free with the government money. They're just like, they just threw the eggs on a field and said, go to town. And so it's like, it lasted 5 minutes. The kids just pick up the eggs and put them in their basket. Rosie likes the hunt.
Of course.
She likes the thrill of the hunt. And you hid them so many places.
Thank you.
She'd be having a conversation with us, and then she'd go and look up, and there'd be one hidden in like the umbrella.
You gotta have the difficult ones. Well, especially specifically for Rosie, because all the other kids were younger than Rosie. And my friend Julie and I wanted to make sure that Rosie was also, I mean, she's 6. She's a big kid.
It was curated.
Yeah, man.
It was curated to her interest level. I'll tell you that much.
You gotta make sure that you've got the higher up eggs.
She was like, yeah, Jackie had most of them, but Julia helped too. Like, it was like she knew the whole operation. Like, afterwards, she was obsessed.
I was worried that I was the bitch in the situation because she came over to me and Rosie was like, I heard that you put out some of the eggs. And I was like, yeah, I did. Did you like where they were put? She's like, yeah, you did a really good job. And then she started talking to me about all of the eggs. But then later on, I heard that she was told that the Easter Bunny puts out the eggs. And then I was like, oh God, did I fuck something up?
No, and this is so perfect. This is so perfect because everybody at the party was like, what did you tell your kids about the Easter Bunny? And I go, I don't know. I'm like fucking Jewish. I grew up getting an Easter basket growing up. Like my mom, like, you know, we did Christmas and we had an Easter basket, but it was just a bunch of fucking candy. It was not like, oh, Jesus is risen. This is the story. Famously, I knew nothing about Jesus until I was 17 and went to college. I knew nothing.
What did you learn?
I literally was like,
the hot facts?
I was like, this is the story? This is the story? Like, you guys think a woman got pregnant out of nowhere?
No,
and then like he turned water to wine wine and like all this shit. Like I had no idea. I was like, I can't believe this is the story. Like I think growing up, because when you're Jewish, there's just God. And I think I was like, oh yeah, they just believe that the Son of God is better. And but we don't think he's the son. But I didn't know anything else. Like I really didn't get into
That's about all I know.
Yeah. So
but you did, so you still celebrated Easter even though you were raised Jewish.
But just the basket. We didn't like get into a cute dress and go to brunch or anything. Just the basket. I think my mom was like, here's a bunch of candy, kids. Like that was it.
How do you feel about that? Like, do you feel that growing up Jewish that you were like surprised that you still got the baskets? Or do you feel that it was just like my mom thought we needed to keep up with the status quo?
I just thought certain holidays were holidays. Like I didn't even know it had anything to do with Jesus.
Gotcha.
And I was just like, oh, it's Easter. And on Easter, I got a fucking hollow chocolate bunny.
Technically, you were celebrating Springsgiving is what you were celebrating.
Yes, I've been at it from the jump. Yeah.
Yes, you're welcome.
I'm an early adopter of Springsgiving. But so, and it was funny because people, so I have this friend that I knew back in New York, and her name's Annie LaFerriere, and she's married to one of these guys that are the dumb dads. They've got a really popular TikTok and Instagram account.
Fun.
She has a very popular Instagram and TikTok account as well, where they do parenting content. And like the first thing that I saw her post a video the next day that was like, are we telling the kids that I hid did the bunny hide them or did we hide them?
Yeah.
And then they were like, why don't we just agree that anything that looks like it took a lot of work is us? Like,
I love that.
You know, like it was just a funny video that got me thinking about our conversation. And then we got a letter, and then we got post. We got
strapped to a crow. I didn't even know they still did that.
We got a letter from a listener named Jess who just said like, basically, I'll just paraphrase, that was like, you know, like I just hid the Easter eggs for my kids. And I'm like, are we collectively as adults bitches for lying to our kids about so much stuff? Like the Tooth Fairy, the Easter Bunny, Santa, all this stuff. Because she mentions that she thinks her kids will be devastated when they hear the truth, but she's keeping it up, the appearances right now. And are we wrong for doing that? And
how do you feel?
I mean, I think that there's so many things we tell people, children, older people. Like, for example, in her email, she goes like, yeah, my husband and I have told them that if a bird shits on your car, you got to find its nest and shit in it to make a statement. Like, you know, like.
Well, that's great. I mean, that's just kind of fun.
It's like, you know, is it our job as parents at like to start the minute they can talk, start telling them the harsh realities of the world? Like, no, we all grew up and found out about Santa, and we're all doing fucking okay.
Yeah.
I think you create a little bit of magic for kids. I have friends who leave out little fucking leprechaun prints in the sugar after St. Patrick's Day.
What are they doing in the sugar?
I mean, you know, just to show the leprechauns were there, you know? Like, and
the leprechauns should get out of the sugar. Yeah. I'd be like, Mother, why are there leprechauns in the sugar? We should probably do some sort of, I don't know, infestation alert if there's leprechauns in the sugar, Mom.
But like the face that your kid makes at you when you're like, oh, I guess the leprechauns were here last night. They're like, I mean, like, why would we take away that magic? Why would we take away the whimsy, the wonder? Like, I guess we're lying, but it's like a lie that, like, by the time they find it out, it's going to be age appropriate, you know?
Right.
Like, you segue. And then I think also there's like the thing with Santa where you go, well, he only exists if you believe in him. So your friends that are telling you he's not real, they don't believe in him. So to them, he doesn't exist. If you believe he exists, and then you believe for as long as you fucking want.
The magic.
And that's it. And Christmas is still magic after you stop believing in Santa. You know, like, I don't know. I don't think we're bitches for lying to our kids. I think that we're setting up a little bit of magic for them. That said, I don't have it in me to do the sugar footprints. I don't have it in me to. They woke up in the morning of Easter. We had just gotten back from a trip. I didn't have shit ready. I had Easter baskets for them, but they were empty. And they go, let's go outside and look for the eggs that the Easter bunny left us. And I went,
did you feel like a failure?
No, you know what I said? I go, you know what? They know you're going to 2 Easter parties later. That's what the Easter bunny knows. So he's bringing the eggs there. And they were like, got it.
Dude.
And who does that hurt?
It's the power of the little stealth lie that a parent has. Because my question to you is how, you know, I see all these things, and again, coming from a not parent, that are like, well, when your child asks you a question and you think it's a bigger question, you know, it's like, where do babies come from? Just that, like a question that you should give them an age appropriate answer. Okay, great. How the hell do you decide what an age-appropriate answer is?
You kind of make a lot of game time decisions.
Right?
I fully told my kids what being trans meant the other day, and they were 5 and 3 at the time. And I just told them
what they
and then they were like, oh, okay. I mean, I don't think they fully got it, but like I explained it to them. And then what's another thing?
But Oscar obviously already understands because he wants to be a girl when he turns 4.
Exactly. And he told me he wants to be gender neutral. So
I love this. I love that. I love that when he turns 4, he's going to become a girl. I love the fact that in 5 years, Rosie's going to have a dog.
Oh yeah,
I like
making plans.
Just nebulous amounts of time of like, sure, all right, yeah. When you're 4, you can become a girl.
But
that's what you want.
Like, if you want to tell your kids that a stork drops them off in a fucking cabbage patch, and that's how they come onto the earth, go for it. You're going to have to change it later. I tell my kids that you came out of my vagina. Like, I tell them how I had them. I haven't told them yet how babies. I haven't told them about how the penis goes into the vagina.
Right, yeah.
I haven't done any of that. Obviously, that's not age appropriate.
And certainly that penis does not have to love that pussy to go inside of it. And they don't need to know that just yet.
But like this is shit that's like, that's biological truths. These are made up fairy tales that we're telling our kids for whimsy and magic. Let's not overthink it.
Right?
You know, like, I appreciate Jess writing in because I have a friend, for example. Here's a good who's the bitch.
Ooh.
I have a friend whose husband is like, I will not lie to my kid about this stuff.
Okay,
if that's what you want to do, all right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But then they go on vacation over Christmas with another family, and he refuses to keep up any ruse about Santa Claus.
That's kind of difficult.
And what are you doing? It's like, then then that's your truth, but then you can't come on the trip. Or just shut your mouth around these other kids. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everyone has their right to phrase this to kids, but I just think, I don't know. I think we need to really examine how much, like, how many favors we're doing with the truth telling, because I do think my kids trust me, and I don't think that finding out Santa's not real later is going to make them stop.
Because you know what's a nightmare? Reality.
Yeah.
And I feel like the kids, let them live in the make-believe a lot longer than they get to.
It's like, are you just showing them wartime images as well? Like, what are we doing? Are we showing them,
Yeah, this is what happened in the Iraq War.
So, yeah, I just think it's like, it's fucking kid magic. So let's just relax.
Yeah.
But let's get into our unsolicited advice for the day. This is where we just randomly talk about things going on in the zeitgeist and give advice that no one asked us for.
Well, sometimes I see certain articles and I'm like, oh, this is a fun who's the bitch, because I can only imagine how the conversation would go in real life. So George Clooney has raised alarm bells among fans while claiming that he and Amal Clooney, who have been married since 2014, who have a set of about to be 8-year-old twins, he claims that they have never gotten into an argument before. They've never, he says, I remember we were here with you once before, and I remember we'd said we'd never had an argument. We still haven't. We're trying to find something to fight about, is what he said to Gayle King on CBS Mornings. I would love to hear this conversation coming from Amal. I want to hear what Amal, does Amal think that they've never gotten into a fight before? Because here's the thing. It's one thing to be in a marriage or in a relationship where, you've never gotten into like a knockdown, drag out, throwing things against the wall. And that's understandable. And I think that it's for the best that you don't. I've had those kind of relationships before, and it's not fun. And you think, but it's the passion of it. And that's not the case. But hear me out. I don't think it's all right, and I don't think it's the truth that George Clooney has never been in a fight or an argument with his wife of 11 years.
Yeah, dude, what are you talking about? You're criminally laid back? Like, what? She's a lawyer. Her whole fucking life is debating both sides of something. You can say, you guys, you're basically saying you've never disagreed about something.
Yes.
that's absolutely psychotic. I think that makes me worried for both of you, that you guys are cyborgs. Like, what are you talking about?
Especially part of being in a relationship, regardless of whether that is a sexual relationship or a friendship. When you are in a relationship, you need to learn not only how other people fight and grow and discuss things, but also how you do and what you need.
Yeah.
And if you've never gotten into an altercation with a spouse, because you are two unique, very different people that come from two very different walks of life, that aren't you going to bring your own perspective to something and you're never going to... Or that means that everything I'm going to hope that Amal says, George Clooney just says, yes, ma'am. Whatever you say, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. If that's the case, it must be boring.
But even
as
like
fuck.
little things, you guys don't argue about like watching a TV show. You don't argue about like, something to do with the kids. You guys were born with the same ideals about parenting in your heads.
Right?
Like, this makes no fucking sense. You haven't been challenged in 11 years of a marriage. There's no challenge. How could you even still be together? That sounds boring as fuck. That sounds so boring.
Exactly, because then, so also what are you saying? That you're never changing, never growing? In fact, recently, Jeff and I got into a really great like verbal processing conversation because he was starting to realize that there was more like different things that he needed than what I was giving him when it came to talking about problems and issues. And I heard what he said, was like, oh, I didn't realize that you weren't getting that from me. And I asked, what do you need from me? And we talked about it, and we are now learning and growing. Because that's just what happens sometimes, because you grow as people. And sometimes you're gonna be like, remember like 15 years ago when I said I like this one thing? I don't know about you, but like my mom still buys me York peppermint patties. I love York peppermint patties, but specifically she remembers from a kid, I love.
Oh yeah, my parents just have latched.
York peppermint patties.
They just latch on to 3 things they know about you, and that's what they do forever.
And that's also understandable because it's coming from your parent that sees you in a specific light.
Yeah.
Your partner, your friendships, you should be talking about how you're growing and you're changing and you're learning.
We're just like, I don't know. I just can't even. To me, this is up there with you telling me that you've never farted in front of Jeff as well, though.
I know.
This is one of these unbelievable things where I'm like, get out of here.
I know. But I don't sit on the throne of fart lies.
It's also like, but also it's kind of like, okay, George Clooney, define fighting. Because does he think that's just raising your voice and screaming?
Yeah, and I'm not talking about screaming at my husband. I'm talking about having a discussion of like,
disagreement.
I didn't realize that that's how there's so many ways also to have a fight. It just annoys me to such an extent of like, or have there been fights, and I'm sorry, George, that I'm putting this on you, or have there been fights and you're just not there and you're just like, oh yeah, that you didn't even realize she was upset about something, or is it that you have so much staff that it's not an issue?
I know, but it's like, even with money, even like, listen, plenty of uber wealthy people have gotten divorced and their marriages haven't worked out. So money doesn't solve everything, because that's what I originally thought. I went, wow, a certain amount of money, and I guess you just don't fight about anything. But that's impossible. Like, that's impossible. He's never said something in a way to you that you took the wrong way, or that you don't like the way he said it to you.
I call bullshit. This is bullshit. Unless they never see each other, unless it really is that they just...
like it's like more campaigning of being the best couple in the world or whatever. Like, they're just trying to be like, oh, well, one time on the patio of our mansion on Lake Como, we did bicker for a second. You know what I mean?
Like, also look at Amal Clooney. I mean, she is such a... I don't want to say that a person is a perfect version of a human being, but like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, to me,
it's like one thing if you married, like, no offense to like a model, but like if you married like a model whose whole life was like just looking beautiful, and they were just like, and maybe they weren't the smartest person. Let's say, I'm not saying that's all models. I'm just saying, let's say you are like, for example, Britney Spears' ex-husband, just good to look at, and maybe there's not a lot going on upstairs.
Oh, yeah, we saw him in The Traitors. We know there wasn't a whole lot going on
Let's
upstairs.
just say that. That I can kind of get a little bit more, because you're the hero in the relationship, or you're not the hero. You're like the famous person.
Right.
They just kind of are along for the ride. They don't need a lot of challenge or whatever. Maybe this person, I'm making this up. This woman is an international human rights lawyer. There's simply no way that she's like,
no way.
Whatever you say, George.
You're right. That's why I'm assuming maybe it's George.
Human fucking rights. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, Let's move on.
Sorry,
I hate this. I want to kill them.
My
Okay.
eyes want to explode out of my face. I was like,
I'm angry.
right.
I'm angry at them.
Okay.
I will not see a George Clooney movie now.
No, George Clooney's the bitch. I'm throwing it on him. I'm saying it. George Clooney's the bitch.
Clooney's the bitch.
Yep.
Craftsman Days are here at Lowe's with big savings on the tools you need. Right now, get a free select tool when you buy the Craftsman V20 2-pack battery kit. Whether it's the backyard, the bathroom, or beyond, Craftsman has the tools to help you power through and get the project done right. Because DIYing is unpredictable, but your tools shouldn't be. Shop Craftsman at Lowe's today. Valid through 6/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Brace the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started today at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
All right. Let's get into today's solicited advice. We got a lot of goodies. Thank you guys so much. As always, who'sthebitch.com is where you can get all the phone number to leave us a voicemail. And you can always follow us on Instagram at who'sthebitchlpn. You can DM us there your problems if that feels better. We always keep it anonymous if you ask. And you can also send us emails. So our first one is an email, and I'm going to read it.
You've got...
Hi, love you both. More Kara everywhere on LPN, please. Loved you on page 7.
Love
Thank you.
this.
I'm only reading the compliment because one person did leave a really mean comment about me on page 7, and I'm still trying to process it and get through it.
We're both trying to process it and get through it because I was upset as well. And I was like, don't speak for me. Thank you very much. Not you. I meant the comment. They were speaking for me.
Yeah, they were being mean. But I think most of you, I really loved being on page 7. So thank you so much for the compliment. Okay, the writer writes, I was getting my teeth cleaned today and I had a new dental hygienist.
Okay.
She seemed a bit robotic and nervous. And when I asked, she told me she was new to the clinic, but not to dentistry.
Okay.
I guess she's in her 50s, IDK. She was wearing a mask and I can never tell how old anyone is anymore. Same. I'm like walking around my neighborhood and I'm like, are you in high school or are you a fully married woman? Like, I don't know. Anyway. Back to the letter. The cleaning went fine, but she was a touch rougher than I'm used to, which whatever. At the beginning of the cleaning, she'd asked if I wanted the TV on, and I said, yes, Comedy Central, please. Wow, I wish there were more people like you, and Comedy Central wouldn't be completely not a channel anymore. But she goes, not related. I love doing this at this particular dentist's office because it's in a part of town that with lots of prim and proper people, and Comedy Central is almost exclusively South Park reruns nowadays. So I get a chuckle out of people walking by my room and clutching their pearls over it, which I love. I love. Plus, otherwise, the default is HDTV, and I simply cannot stand that shit. Sames. Okay, I like this person.
Oh, no. Oh, no, Kara.
Okay.
Oh, no. We'll have to go head-to-head about HGTV someday.
no.
But that
It's
day
not-
is not
it's
today.
not for me. It's not for
the
me.
day is not today.
Anyway, when I laughed a bit at a joke on the show, she started talking about TV shows, cable, streamers at me while she was finishing with my teeth. Normal gripes about prices, repeating ads, etc. But then she goes, quote, you know, I don't like a lot of these new shows, these Marvel shows. They're always trying to show a bunch of gay stuff. Like, ugh, just be regular. End quote. Now, I was a bit shocked at the casual homophobia in a professional doctor setting, but I nevertheless had a reply ready to go along the lines of, what do you mean regular?
Thank you.
But she had like 3 metal pokey things in my mouth at that particular moment. She ended up changing the subject back to my teeth after a long silence. Not sure she could tell that she had offended me or not, but the cleaning was over soon after that. And when I paid at reception and scheduled my next appointment, and they asked if I wanted the lady I had just seen or my regular hygienist, obviously I did not rebook with this bitch. Now, I know she's the bitch for being homophobic, but my question is, do I call the dentist's office and tell them what happened? Or would I be a Karen bitch for potentially getting this person in trouble at their new job? Or would I be the bitch for saying something in the moment and nothing afterwards to her management? It literally just happened, so I'm fucking mad that she looked at me and 1, assumed I'm straight, 2, assumed I'm on board with a little homophobia. It's wild for someone to say something like that to a patient, right?
Yeah.
So that's this submission. So I love this so much because I had a dental hygienist who was a bit old and she's since retired say something to me about loving Candace Owens. And I went, oh, no, he's crazy. I went, no, he's fucking nuts. Don't listen to Kelly Owen. Like, I was literally like, no amount of pokey things in the mouth could stop me. I was like, oh, girl, you're not going to talk to me about Candace Owens. But I respect that you were like getting your teeth cleaned. It felt like the moment to say something had passed. I understand. Yes. Confrontation is also difficult. Like,
it is.
And I don't know what to say about calling the office and telling. I don't think you would have been a bitch for saying something in the moment and not anything to the management. No. I don't know about calling, but we can't let these little things of homophobia slip by.
Can't. And I personally,
I don't think she would have lost her job.
No, but personally, I would go back and want to speak with her.
Yeah.
I think at this point, if I'd already left and I was still feeling the way that you were feeling, which I completely understand, and I also struggle with confrontation in the moment. I get very overwhelmed and I immediately start thinking like, oh God, I start immediately spiraling. So I do understand, but there have been times that I have gone back to an establishment
and said,
I really didn't find that appropriate and you made me feel very uncomfortable. And I don't think that you should get this person or attempt to get this person fired.
Right.
It's just not, that's just not going to change anything or do anything. And I think part of this, I don't know if you kind of get this out of all these, listening to all these Who's the Bitch episodes of talking about it and actually calling someone out and being like, I don't agree with that. Yeah. And I don't know if you experience this a lot, Kara, but I've talked about this with Jeff often, that like, especially him as a man, like a white man, gets that kind of shit. Like, people say homophobic shit towards him. People say racist shit towards him. Yeah. And us just being white people, I think that people also say that kind of shit where it's just like, no, I don't fucking agree with you. I do not agree with you, and I don't agree with what you're saying, and don't just assume that I feel the way that you feel. And it really, it pisses me off.
Yeah.
And you should stay upset about that, because how dare this person think that you feel a certain way, and it would eat me up if I didn't go back and say, no, I do feel this way.
And I think like even Jackie and I are very outgoing people and like perform for a living. And it's even hard for me sometimes to say something in the moment.
Very difficult.
With something like this, because you don't know how someone's going to react. And sometimes, who knows? I think it's also perfectly acceptable for you to write a little letter. Put that hygienist's name on it, bring it by the office and go, I just had a little note I wanted to give to Cindy, whatever this person's name is. That way she gets to read it in private. She's not going to get in trouble. You don't have to do a face-to-face confrontation that I know a lot of people that listen are probably like, my sister is somebody like this. In a million years, she wouldn't say anything, even though she wouldn't agree with that person. Like, people have different levels of comfortability with confrontation. I would write a little note that just said, something that you said during my exam really rubbed me the wrong way. You made an assumption about me. You made a remark that I found to be homophobic. And I know you're new at this job, and I wanted to give you the opportunity. I wanted to give you this feedback so that you don't continue to make these kind of comments at this place, because you don't know who you're talking. You don't, you just can't make these kind of comments to people. The next person's not going to be as nice, polite as I have been.
And I think that someone should alert, because also you think about that,
and then you're doing that person a service.
Exactly. And saying, and maybe it's not, you're so right, and not coming at it from anger. And you are right, Kara, because that's not going to create a conversation. And I think going to someone just to remind them that you shouldn't be speaking this way.
And you could say, and in case you wanted to know why I didn't book with you again, this is the reason.
This is why.
And I'm giving you this feedback. And they can literally talk up and down about these liberals are just trying to get me to change my opinion. No, in your place of business, you should not be casually making judgment calls about what's normal and what's not normal vis-a-vis sexuality. Like,
also,
while
go
you have
check
shit
out
in people's mouths.
Agatha all along was great. All right. And it's like, I feel like maybe this sad woman, you should open up your fucking brain space for a second and just know that the world is filled with so many different, interesting, wonderful human beings. Yeah. And if you could just take those hate shades off just for a second and look at what could be, animals. It just, I get so angry. So it's so good talking to you, Kara, because you're right. You shouldn't, because I'm like, you want to hear how I feel about these things? Because I'd let her know.
I think that's what I would do. You're obviously mad about it, and I think you're going to be bummed at yourself if you don't get to say anything. But I understand not wanting to like you. And if you want to take Jackie's advice and fully march back in there and say, "Could I have a word with this hygienist?" It could be a little awkward logistically.
No, you're right. I know you're right. I just got all angry.
You can absolutely do that. And actually, I'm just talking about a hygienist. If this happened at like a bagel shop and you wanted to go in the next day and say to the bagel shop guy, like, hey, I don't really like what you said yesterday. I just wanted to let you know. You absolutely can do something like that. I'm just giving an alternative for someone that doesn't feel comfortable with that level of confrontation. That I think a little handwritten note just being like, I really didn't like that. And like, this is why I didn't book with you again, you know?
And honestly, it is teaching. I feel like we deal with so many horrible people on the internet that are just behind their computer, so they feel that they can say whatever mean thing that they want to say and whatever horrific perspective that they have. But there is something about writing that down and getting that out. And you know what? Maybe you don't deliver the letter, but maybe you need to write that down, because I'm sure that that's not the only person you have received any kind of homophobic comments up like towards or about. And it just... Everyone that is so bogged down in their own hatred and upset. And I think that all of us are, especially right now, struggling a lot with that and knowing that we need to, it's not getting us anywhere.
Right.
And it doesn't get you anywhere. And being filled with the anger and the hate towards everybody that feels this way is not doing anything.
Right.
And so it is about creating community. It is about communication. And man, but I want to just lead with that anger. But you know what? I went to anger management twice for a reason, Kara.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to go into the bathroom and you got to breathe. All right.
But I think it's like, I think being a Karen is all about tone also. Like, I guess you could also just mention to a receptionist or something, hey, the hygienist said something to me that I kind of found a little bit of offensive. I know she's new at the job, and I just wanted to give the feedback that I don't really think she should be making comments about that are homophobic about, you know, gay people. And it's like, and then leave it at that. If you're like, I demand she be fired, that's the Karen.
Exactly.
That's when you take the Karen up.
Exactly.
Again, I think you can handle this without involving the management, especially because you found out she just started this job and like, you know, maybe felt nervous. Like, let's give people a little bit of, I hate to say, I don't want to give homophobes grace, but I think saying something in the letter or going back and speaking to her or something like that I think that's the way to go. Because I do think you should get your feedback out.
Yes, very much so. And that person needs to know that they shouldn't be speaking like that. But I'm sorry, I have to ask the question, Kara. Do you also hate house hunters?
Oh, I've never watched that.
Okay, so I didn't know if there was like specifically things from HGTV.
I don't watch anything on HGTV. I just don't really like how they turn everything into like an open concept and like
I understand that.
A rebuilt. It's rust. It's a, what is it, like a vintage farmhouse or whatever.
Yeah.
Like everything's the same and like it and like.
I would love to at some point in the future,
I should
though.
Watch it.
We should sit and watch My Lottery Dream Home, which is a show that I used to watch with Henry a lot. And you really can tell what season of My Lottery Dream Home's 13 seasons you're watching, depending on...
Why have I never even heard the name of that television show?
Oh, baby. The host of My Lottery Dream Home is this dude that, like, he's essentially going to people. They're like, oh, you've been poor your whole life, now you got money? Well, we need to teach you how to be rich. And he slowly becomes covered in tattoos. In Henry and I's brain, he starts to battle some sort of addictions. I don't know what's going on with the host of the show, but I love him and I love this show. And
he looks like a nightmare.
He is a fun.
Oh my God. What? His name is David Bromstad.
Oh yes. And he's
literally wearing some pearls or something.
Oh yeah. He's fun. He's fun to watch.
And holding a heinous peacock statue in the photo that I'm seeing.
And he really talks down to the people that...
he also has like a crazy facial hair. Like, I don't know if I would trust a guy with this facial hair to tell me how to decorate my home.
I said 13 seasons. I'm sorry, 17 seasons.
Bitch.
17 seasons.
88% of Google users like the show. Okay, all right, I'll do this with you. We'll smoke weed or something sometime and watch this show.
You don't even like weed.
I don't even like weed. Okay. I'll do 2 things I don't like for you.
Okay.
All right, let's play a voicemail.
Okay.
This is funny. Okay.
Thank you for calling. Who's the bitch? Tell us in the voicemail who's the bitch. Beep. My name's Danny. I'm a speech therapist here in Los Angeles. So my question has to do with my job. So I work at a large urban school district. There's about like 600 SLPs. And at the end of every school year, we have like a meeting near the last day of school where they gather all of us up in a giant auditorium and they do, like the tedious closing procedures and who's retiring and thanks for all your hard work, kind of pat in the back. That's like really could be an email. And last year at our big meeting, last year was a particularly brutal year. Like any year working in a school, you are like crawling across the finish line in the summer. And last year there was just a bunch of policy changes that really made our job harder, particularly at the second half of the school year. And so we were all feeling particularly brutalized for in this meeting, just waiting to get to summer break. And they, keep teasing that they have this like really special treat for us and who knows what it could be. And I'll tell you what it was. It was a full 22-minute production that was a parody of the Barbie movie that was meant to, be about being a speech therapist in the schools. Like, just to paint the picture, someone like wrote a script, somebody directed it, an SLP, like one of our supervisors who supervises us did this. She wrote it, she directed it. What? There is a full production of a parody of I'm Just Ken called I'm Just Teach with dances and wow. I guess someone went to a recording studio. I don't really understand the full logistics of it, but you're watching it and it is like a full production. Like someone used like a professional camera.
Wow.
They spent, I would assume, multiple days filming this, editing it. And again, like there must have been dance rehearsals.
What?
So I'm watching this and all these questions are going through my mind. Like, when did they do the dance rehearsals? When did they film this dance sequence? When did they film any of this? Who paid for there's a pink Jeep. Who paid for this pink Jeep in the movie? Like, was this like a job duty? I don't like, so all these questions are right through my mind and I'm like in a bad place. Like I'm ready to like leave. And I look around me and we're getting a lot of hoots and hollers and woos and yes, like when people, cause it stars people in our department and I get that it was meant to be fun. And I get that it was meant to be like lighthearted and like, look, this is about our job. But I could not enjoy it. The only thing I could think about was we were like breaking our backs. Like, were they doing the dance rehearsal at the football field while I was like writing my 25th assessment for the school year and like being yelled at by an administrator for like having it be 10 minutes late, And I maybe I just have no joy in my heart, but I really felt like such an outsider because everyone was loving it. And here I was thinking about like, should I email like our boss's boss to be like, what was the cost of this? I didn't do that because I'm not crazy. I really just, it ended and I left. But, at the end of the day, I'm wondering like, am I a bitch for hating that with no joy in my heart? Or was it really bitchy to like, really not read the room, I think. Anyway, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Thanks.
Oh my God, I'm so obsessed with this, Danny. I'm so obsessed.
I'm just teach.
I mean, I'm sorry, no offense. This is why you guys are speech language therapists and not television and movie writers. Because I'm Just Teach is like a awful, awful parody of I'm Just Ken.
There's so many things you can do.
Like it's just, oh my God. I absolutely get what you're saying. I mean, working in a school is so fucking difficult.
And it's thankless.
Teachers and speech therapists, all of you guys should be paid the most of anyone in the world, I think. I don't know if I've said this on this podcast, but I went and did a little art project at my daughter's class where I helped them make crepe paper flowers for 1 hour. And it was all 23 kids were there. Not one kid was fucking absent. And they were all just going, Rosie's mom, Rosie's mom, Rosie's mom, yelling at me for the full hour, asking me questions. And I ran around and I had to take a 1 hour nap when I got home.
It was
and
so
I do not
funny.
Nap.
You told me about having to go in to do this.
Oh, yes. And then I texted you and I go, this was my Vietnam.
Just pictures of the flowers. This was my Vietnam. I laughed so hard.
I have so much respect for teachers and staff at schools. And it just like doubled it that day. Cause I was like, I'm so tired. And I get it. It's like the end of the school year and you're like, what the fuck is this? Also, don't say we have a treat for you if it's not a fucking treat. Like I was thinking, they're going to get you guys like some nice hand lotion or like, I don't know, a fucking gift certificate
Get a sponsor.
to a spa or
Yes,
something.
exactly.
Like that's probably crazy, like too much, but like some little thing you can walk away with that's like, hey, we appreciate you. And that not like we're in LA where a lot of people make career changes. So clearly somebody, I think, involved with this was like,
I've got a great idea. Oh, yes.
And it's no big deal. My friend said he'll edit it for us, like whatever. Like, hopefully it didn't cost a ton of resources.
But it did.
I think you're well within your rights to find out if it did. But even the time, just I hear what you're saying. You're like, I'm sitting here getting yelled at for being 10 minutes late to something, and you're telling me somebody was doing a fucking choreo lesson.
Yeah.
And I'm getting yelled at for like being 10 minutes late on like this shit that's like breaking me. Like, I totally get that you were just not in the place to watch this thing.
I can't imagine.
It makes so much sense. I don't think you're a bitch with no joy in your heart. I think that
I am. You know what? Honestly, I'm more impressed that you didn't just stand up in the middle of it. Me like, I'm just teach of all the time you took and you landed at I'm just teach.
Oh my God.
You couldn't have given it a little bit more of it. It's like, if you're already going to be outsourcing some of these jobs, can we bring a writer in?
Yeah.
Can we bring like a parody songwriter?
Nobody was available to do punch up. Jesus.
Just something.
I just think it's
send it here. We'll punch it up for you. I'll do it for free.
It's so funny. It's like when you work like a corporate job and they're like, look, we got you this pointless thing.
Yes.
We got you this. It's like, you know.
The only thing that I have heard of in the world of office working, now I would always be very envious of it in New York when we knew a bunch of people that worked temp jobs and working in offices. And in New York, and I don't know if they do this in other states or other parts of New York even, oftentimes you would get half off, like on Fridays. You'd have half-day Fridays. You'd have summer Fridays. Because oftentimes in New York, a lot of people go out to the Hamptons go upstate, go up to Connecticut on the weekend. So I don't know if that's something that is everywhere, but I remember being so pissy because I worked at a coffee shop and I was like, oh, I'm so glad you people that just sit all day just get to have an extra time. Oh, you get paid for it too. How's your health insurance? You know, it's like it would be a lot of that kind of ire coming from me. And but I understand you'll never hear the ire coming from me when it comes to like teachers getting the summer off and things like that, because man, talk about a profession that deserves time off desperately.
I just want you to know,
and I know you don't get paid for it.
Yeah. I just want you to know that I think that there's probably more people that thought it was annoying than you think.
I'm sure.
Because like my sister is like a really sarcastic, funny person, but she's a teacher. And like I think sometimes she puts on a smile and is like, yeah, that'd be great. But like loves to talk a little bit of shit, you know? And I think that you definitely, even though it felt like everybody around you was like, oh my God, amazing, hilarious. I bet if you got a couple of drinks in people, you could really get what they think.
Oh, I bet.
I don't think you're a bitch. I think you're entitled to feel your fucking feelings. Yeah. And I think that's a shitty, quote unquote, treat for your conference when they could have given you guys
a free pizza, at least
a new backpack or something that you need. Like, I don't know.
Have it donated to the school, like something that you went above and beyond to go get, wear all the buzz balls. You know, so can we get like a women-owned in here?
Let's get a buzz ball to these speech therapists.
Yes, you guys need
great.
it.
You could do some experiments about like how many buzz balls does it take before your speech starts to really start to get affected.
I bet it's only 2.
Oh, I love that. Anyway, thank you so much for writing in. You are not the bitch,
and you're not just.
And
teach.
I would say whoever's idea was I'm just teach. They're the bitch. They need to fucking.
Thank you.
They're in the right. I think they're in the right line of work, and they need to stop trying to make their old career happen.
Surprise bill? Need fast funds? CashNet USA can help. When you need money fast, be the hero.
Apply in minutes at cashnetusa.com and get a fast decision. All loans subject to lender approval. Speed of funding is subject to verifications and your bank's processing times.
Craftsman Days are here at Lowe's with big savings on the tools you need. Right now, get a free select tool when you buy the Craftsman V20 2-pack battery kit. Whether it's the backyard, the bathroom, or beyond, Craftsman has the tools to help you power through and get the project done right. Because DIYing is unpredictable, but your tools shouldn't be. Shop Craftsman at Lowe's today. Valid through 6/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
You can read this next one, Jackie.
Got you.
You got bitch.
Hi, Jackie and Kara. Love you both. All right. So my mom is coming to visit me in D.C. in 5 weeks. My sister and I both have tumultuous relationship with our mother. She's passive-aggressive, values appearances / what our family, quote, looks like, is fake AF and jealous as all hell. Man, that's a lot. That's a lot of rough characteristics. Most people in our lives think we are overreacting / painting her in a bad light until they have interacted with her a few times. My mother likes to snoop. She has gone through my brother-in-law's office, my sister's bedroom, and goes through my luggage when I'm home for the holidays. Am I the bitch if I install a lock on my bedroom door so I can lock it when she's left alone in my condo? I don't necessarily have much to hide besides sex toys, a journal, and countless letters to my dead dog. It helped me through my grief. Aww. There's also no avoiding her being alone. I will need to go for runs because I'm training for a race and may need to pop into work for a few hours. I have so much anxiety about this visit. She's also recently MAGA. She also helped me buy this condo, so I feel like I can't say no to the visit in general, otherwise I would. I know I'm probably not the bitch daughter, but also she's my mom. I get
Christy.
I hear you.
This is from Christy. Christy. Bitch, get that fucking lock.
Get that lock.
Who cares? If she asks you, it's your fucking condo. It's your house. You got a lock because you wanted a fucking lock. You could make up whatever you want. You could say, it came with the lock. I don't care. Lock that fucking door so that when you're on your runs, you're not thinking about your mom going through your shit.
Yes.
That's so, your mom sounds like a narcissist.
Yes.
And that sounds like such a fucking gross, like, abuse to just be going through and snooping. I mean, God, my mom could give a shit what's going on in my life. Like, I think my mom could be sitting right next to a dildo at my house and wouldn't even notice it. Like, she would not even, she's just like, what?
What's this?
Who? Huh? Okay. So
which is so funny because that's so the opposite of who you are. I can't imagine, I can't imagine you being this way.
Oh, leaving a dildo out?
Yeah, or just, leaving a dildo out, but also not caring about someone else's existence. That's just so not who you are.
Oh, yeah. No, my mom cares about my existence. She doesn't get bogged down in the details of my, like,
she's busy.
She wouldn't know what to even look for. Like, if she went into my room, she'd be like, what? I mean, that's just not my mom's nature. But anyway, I digress. Like, she's doing that she's crossing boundaries and she's getting under your skin. I mean, I'm assuming you and your sister and your who was the other person that got your brother-in-law? I'm sure that they've expressed their displeasure with this, and yet she keeps doing it. Like, doesn't care about other people's feelings, and therefore you need to protect yourself.
Also, you need to remember any boundary you can set for yourself that's going to take some anxiety off of this trip, you got to do. Because here's the thing, you're already nervous about this. You're already worried about her coming, which means the second she gets there, you're going to be already at a fucking 500 out of 100. You're coming into this already defensive. So you need to do then, I don't know if you've got a therapist or someone to sit and also talk about what can you do to help you feel like you have more control over the situation that you're heading into.
Yeah.
Because the anxiety is just going to kind of take over. And I get that. And it's going to spin out. So if you need that lock and if you need to tell her, oh, I don't trust my housekeeper. Well, fucking lie.
Yeah. You can lie if you
lie
want.
About
I was thinking that exact same thing.
Exactly.
Like, oh, yeah, like my dog walker comes in or something. I don't even know if you have. Oh, I'm sorry. You said your dog passed.
Oh, God.
But say when your dog was alive, you had a dog walker and you didn't want your dog walker having access to the rest of the apartment. I don't know. I'm just giving you excuses here. I honestly think you can just say,
I don't think you have to say
I have a
anything.
lock on my door. What?
Yep, that's
what?
it.
What? You don't have to. Here's a fun little thing.
You're a full-grown adult.
Here's a fun little thing I think you should do. I was just telling Jackie's husband about this yesterday at a party. If you have cable, which I understand you're probably a young cord cutter and you don't have cable, but if you happen to have cable, why don't you call your cable company and make sure Fox News is not available on your television for when your mom comes to visit? Because I called and I did it, and I cannot wait for my parents to visit and realize that we do not have Fox News at my house. I can't fucking wait.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
And so even if there are little things that you can do for you to set you up for success, because sometimes, man, going into those kind of trips already dreading it is not going to help anything.
No, you're not the bitch for doing anything in your house that makes you feel good about and safe about being in your house.
No.
So you're not the bitch, and sounds like your mom is.
Yeah.
But I mean, thanks for helping buy the condo, I guess, Mom. All right, let's get to our next voicemail.
Tell us in the voicemail who's the bitch. Beep.
Hi. I left another voicemail. It's not very concise, so I'm going to leave a much more concise one. first and foremost, thank you for just creating a space that makes all of us feel a little less crazy and a little more valid in being a bitch and keeping us honest when we're being bitches. Make a long story short, last year, after several years of being in a lot of pain, my doctors figured out the reason I was living with like chronic pelvic pain was because my uterus had decided to say, oops, all tumors, and so had my fallopian tube.
Oh my God.
Thankfully, it was not the big C. Some of it was like pre-big C and had to come out pretty immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up missing a family wedding that had like a lot of drama around it. My husband had one of his siblings getting married that he's never been that close to. Like, I've been with my husband for 10 years, and I think me and this sibling have said maybe 100, 200 words together in those 10 years. They're just not close. There's a huge age gap. Shit happens. We end up missing the wedding because I am 2 weeks out from major surgery. Like, I had surgery. There was no way I was getting on a plane. There was no way I was flying across the country for a wedding. And so we had said, you know, here's a gift. We're sorry we're missing it. You know, we love you. We wish we could be there. And that was the end of it. There was no big drama about us not coming. There was nothing from the bride and groom, nothing from, you know, like my in-laws. But the night of the wedding, it's like 2 weeks after I've had surgery. I am like absolutely blitzed on painkillers and muscle relaxers because I have literal open wounds inside my body. And I get these absolutely batshit text messages from a number I don't recognize that are accusing me of, you know, trying to make the wedding about myself and not, you know, letting the bride and the groom just have this one thing, and that my husband and I were trying to ruin the wedding by not coming. Can't stress this enough. We weren't even in the party for this wedding. Like, I wasn't even invited to the bachelorette. That is like how tertiary we were to this whole thing. And that's okay. We were very okay with that. Happy even. And these text messages like start out with like, you know, you won't let them have anything and everything has to be about you and blah, 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 blah. And then they start to get increasingly more unhinged, and it really hits its peak of like batshitness of accusing me of lying about having a hysterectomy so that I would have a, quote, good enough excuse to bail, end quote. And that we had spent weeks fabricating medical documentation shared with my in-laws.
What?
Crazy.
So that no one would be mad at us for just not wanting to go. Now, maybe it was the narcotics, or maybe it was the fact that I had gone through something extremely traumatic and had no patience for it. But I responded with the pictures that my surgeon took of my tumor-riddled uterus and fallopian tube, and just sent him back with, I feel like it probably would have just been cheaper to get a face tattoo if I wanted all that attention.
Damn.
And then blocked the number. I did not think about this interaction for months after that. As far as I was concerned, it was over, it was done with. And to be totally honest, I kind of thought it was a little bit of a fever dream until months later at a family event, a different family member pulled me aside and we were bitching about kind of like the drama around this wedding and the unreasonable expectations that like the maid of honor and the best man had for family and friends. And she brings up that the maid of honor proceeded to tell people that I was harassing her all night, which did not happen because I didn't have her phone number, and that I had gone out of my way to make the wedding about myself, which is insane.
Lord.
I show my in-law the text messages, and it spins off an incredible amount of drama between the bride, the maid of honor, and like a bunch of tertiary family drama that like thankfully I'm not directly involved in. But I'm asking, like, am I the bitch that I did confirm that, like, no, I just got a bunch of crazy text messages and maybe responded inappropriately? Because I feel like maybe the mature thing would have been for me to be like, oh yeah, it's whatever. I'm sorry she feels that way, and just moved on, instead of just kind of lighting the powder keg of family drama. So thanks. Sorry about my other message. Have a beautiful...
This is a classic fuck around and find out. This is a classic play stupid games, win stupid prizes. If you are going to fucking accuse somebody of having a hysterectomy for attention, then be prepared to get a picture of a fucking bloody tumor-riddled uterus in your fucking text messages.
In fact, she's lucky that that's all she received, because I definitely, you want to see? You want to see? And I would have shown you want to see where they went in? You want to see? Oh, you're going to.
Or you could have just screenshotted everything that she said and just sent it around to people. But
you're not like that. So you weren't thinking like that because you're the not bitch of this situation.
No, this is a crazy person. But you know why I picked this one? Because I just think it's really nuts. And it so rears its ugly head so much more at weddings when people, and this can be men too, but I think women do it a lot, feel like they have to go to bat for a friend. They have to do something really off the fucking walls to show what a good friend they are, what a good maid of honor you are. Did she do something? To me, there's more to the story. To me, because the bride, the maid of honor didn't just wake up and say, I hate the sister-in-law who barely talks to you guys. There had to be something where she felt like she was defending her friend's honor. You don't let them have anything. You don't let them have anything nice. You didn't come. They obviously didn't give a shit that you didn't come because you guys are not close. They didn't care. They didn't say anything to you. If they had said something, if they had cared, there would have been passive aggressive conversations with in-laws and all kinds of stuff like that. The maid of honor on the night of the wedding decides to come at you with all of this crazy shit. To me, she's either fully unhinged and she's projecting something onto you that's going on in her personal life.
Yeah.
Or she's trying to figure out how she can simp for the bride a little bit.
Yeah.
And I hate to use that term, but there's a sense to me that she's trying to show the bride, look how much I'm riding for you. Look how hard I ride for you.
I would totally though need to know how'd she get the number? Did she ask the bride on her wedding day for your number so that she could do I wonder where the came from.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine on the day that the bride was talking about you not being there at her wedding, unless you were saying that you were going to show up with 12 people and then the day of you're I'm not going to come. I guess I would be upset about that.
If that's something the bride was complaining about on their wedding night, then this marriage is not long for this world.
Yeah.
Because your wedding is so fun and crazy and a whirlwind. You're not look, 3 days before when people canceled on me last minute, I was thinking about it and I was annoyed.
Yeah.
So I was I already paid for your food, bitches.
Upset because you already paid for it.
But the day of,
you're not thinking about
the wedding, you're dancing around. You're thinking about people that didn't show up because of medical procedures. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't think the bride even said anything. I think to me, I'm getting the sense that this maid of honor is a little unhinged and wanted to sort of do some kind of final gauntlet maid of honor because
I guess.
I will add also that because she mentioned here very briefly that she was originally talking about how the maid of honor and the best man had a lot of high unreasonable expectations for the family and the friends. Okay. And
coming from the maid of honor and the best man, why?
Yeah.
Why?
And this because I think that's the kind of thing you do when you're trying to prove to a bride how fucking real you are. How you're a real one and how you're I'm going to get everybody to take you to fucking Mallorca for your bachelorette party. This woman, this caller actually left another voicemail that was most of the same stuff, but one detail that was in the original voicemail, if I remember correctly, was that they wanted people to spend $5 or $6K on the bachelorette party, which is psychotic. And so I think this maid of honor is completely off her rocker, and I hope that that's the message that's been given. And I'm sorry that you, in your recovery from a serious surgery, had to deal with this shit, but I think you did exactly what I would have done, and you showed the fucking receipts.
Yes.
What a nightmare. I don't know. I just think there's so many fucking unhinged people out there, and I'm sorry that you had to deal with this woman. But
and also the fact that can we just throw it out there? Is it sad that this woman maybe has experienced someone in her life that would lie to that extent about having a hysterectomy?
Because that's where your mind went.
Good Lord, who are you surrounded by? You need new friends, maid of honor, and you need to go figure out your sense of understanding and trusting people.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that's also. I would just say, if you ever lied about having a hysterectomy, you're the crazy bitch.
Yeah. And I think that you did not do anything wrong by sending those texts. I think it might have seemed, oh wow, did I send really inappropriate no. You think I'm lying? Here's the proof.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a lawyer, bitch, when it comes to crazy people. You got to be a lawyer. Got to have all the facts lined up. All right, I'm going to read one more. You've got bitch. Hello, you two majestic, bitch-markable women. The way you guys wordsmith bitch into things is really, really impressive. I will just jump right in. My mom has been talking about taking my daughter to Europe for about a year now. When we started planning our annual girls trip, me, my mom, and my daughter, this came up, and my mom very generously decided to take us to Spain. I am beyond excited and floored at this incredible opportunity for myself and especially my daughter. Understandably, my husband is feeling bummed about not going. He doesn't want to talk about the trip, and when I was showing my daughter a picture of the street we're staying on, he left the room. I asked him to talk to me about it, and he doesn't want to. He's not being mean or nasty at all, just sullen and disappointed. I totally get where he's coming from, and I know he's sad about not experiencing this with our daughter, / he has never been to Europe. I'm also feeling sad that he isn't excited for us. My husband is beloved by my mom, and this has nothing to do with him. This was all about my mom wanting to provide a special girls trip before traveling abroad isn't possible for her. Who is the bitch? Was I being the bitch for being excited and not thinking about my husband? What can I do to help my husband not feel so bummed and be able to celebrate this trip? Thank you, bitched up abroad. I mean, I really want to be an asshole right now. I want to be the bitch and just tell your husband to fucking
get the fuck
sack
over
up
it.
and
I know.
shut the fuck up.
But that would be really difficult.
That's mean and bitchy. Listen.
And also, if you were in his space, wouldn't you? Well,
of course.
It sucks.
You can be jealous. I'm jealous of people all the time. Jealousy is a normal human reaction. You're a father. You need to look at what you're doing and that your daughter is seeing.
You're right.
Guess what? My daughter's probably going to go on a fucking spring break trip to Cancun at some point and make out with a bunch of people. I'm going to be jealous. I'm not going to tell her, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Your kids are allowed to have experiences. I can understand why to you privately, he'd say, I'm really bummed I don't get to go. Like, my husband's done that before. In front of your daughter, he should not do that. Daughter. He should not do that. It should be all about, wow, this is so cool you get to do this. It's so cool that Nana's bringing you on this trip, whatever. And I also have to say, this is him not also acknowledging the importance of a girls' trip. I think this is so cool. 3 generations.
Yes.
I never got to take a trip like this with my mom and my grandma, ever.
No.
I barely ever got to spend time with the 3 of them, with the 2 of them together while my grandmother was alive. And I just think it's so cool and special that you're doing this and your husband's making it about him.
Yeah.
And I think that if you want to coddle him a little bit, I think you should say, hey, there's a big game happening in town the week that we're in Spain. Why don't you get tickets and go with your buddy? Hey, there's a cool thing you've been wanting to do.
Yes.
Why don't you go do that the week we're in Spain?
Yes.
Let's create something for baby to do while you are away. But I am being kind of rude because I just think men do this shit all the fucking time. And like, it's fine to be jealous. You know, it is completely fine.
It's how you act about
this
it.
This is like, you're asking him to talk about it and he's going, I don't want to talk about it. Come on. Like, you got to grow up. And like, why don't you go, if I'm him, I'm going, all right, you guys go to Spain this summer and then I want to start planning a trip in 2 years for us to go to Italy and I'm going to start saving for it. Be proactive. If you're that jealous, that obviously means you really want to go to Europe.
Right.
And let's get it happening. Let's make it happen. Are you sad that you're not going on a free trip to Spain? Like, sorry. Like,
sure.
This is just, I don't know. I don't have a lot of sympathy for your husband here because I think he's acting like a baby. And like I said, jealousy is a completely fine emotion. I have it all the time.
Yes.
I look at people's vacations. I go, God, that looks fucking amazing. I tell friends, I go, I'm so jealous of you.
Yes.
I don't think jealousy, I think some people think jealousy is bad. Oh my God, they're jealous of me. I'm like, you can be jealous of something someone has and tell them, oh my God, I'm so jealous of this opportunity you have.
That's awesome.
I'm so happy for you.
Yes, and I'm so happy that you're doing this.
It's not like I'm ever like, I'm jealous and it should be me. That's a different thing. That's being vindictive or whatever. You know?
And you're so right with that, showing it in front of your daughter. And maybe you can go to him and be like, hey, and don't go to him with anger of upset. It's more just like I know that you're not feeling great about this.
But we're going to talk about it. We're not going to keep this quiet. Exactly. And I'm not going to teach my daughter that I have to keep my joy quiet so that a man will not be upset.
Yes.
That's not happening in this house.
Yes.
And so you should be able listen, we have a photo up in my house that my dad took or that somebody took at our house, at my house before my parents sold it. It is all of us in the family. It is all my siblings, their partners, my kids, me. Jared's not in it. He was out of town. My dad blew up the photos and he framed them for us and I hung it up in our house. He's very upset. he's very upset. He's like, it kind of rubs me the wrong way that picture's up and I'm not in it. And I'm like, it's the last photo I have at my childhood home with my entire family.
And you want it up in your house.
And I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that you're not there because you were on a work trip.
Right.
I'm sorry. Like, it's just, these are the realities. He doesn't sulk about it all day. He's mentioned it a couple times, So, look, we all have unhappy moments in life.
Yeah.
But you don't set a precedent for your daughter of daddy's having a little temper tantrum and we have to like not talk about it because he's going to be sad.
Right.
No. I think let's work on getting your husband something that he can look forward to at that time, which by the way, I just took my kids to Florida for a week without my husband and he was like, score.
Bye.
Like, yeah.
And there are other future things that you can do because right now all he's doing is teaching your daughter that that's how you should react when you don't get something that you want. And that's not what you should be teaching her.
Yeah.
Life is filled with many, many wonderful, great things, but also lots of disappointments. And we do need to teach kids how to deal well with maybe not even well, just deal with disappointments in a way that is not going to take you out of other situations in the future because nobody wants to be around somebody that's a spoil sport.
Yeah.
And you it's something you really grow to learn as you get older of like, no, we should be happy for other people when they're having wonderful experiences. Sure, there are many times, someone gets the job you wanted to get or, there's many experiences in life. But how do you deal with it?
Yes.
That is what reality is all about.
How you deal with the cards that you're dealt.
It is.
Listen, buen viaje. Have a great time in Spain.
Dude,
and
have a blast.
I think What is he not going to want to look at the pictures when you come back? Come on.
Here's the thing. And go to your husband and be like, yes, I would love to make a trip that is just me, you, and the kid, or just me and you where we can go have a fun, different experience. Like you said, let's plan a different experience.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the girls' 3 generations. Yeah, that's their trip.
That's their trip. Okay, I have one more super quick voicemail. Let's do, and then we can wrap up for today.
Okay.
Thank you for calling Who's the Bitch? To listen to voicemail, Who's the Bitch? Beep.
Hi, Jackie and Kara. I have a super, super low stakes question for you.
Ooh.
So my name is Riley, and I'm going to the a live show for Last Podcast on the Left with my coworker. But actually, we don't work together anymore because he just got a new job. Anyway, it's like goth night, right? I have these platform boots that I absolutely love. They're so goth, so cool.
Yes.
Thing is, I'm like 5'9", and then when I wear these, I'm like 6'2". And this coworker is already a few inches shorter than me. And I'm a woman and he's a man, and I know that's like so stupid and people shouldn't care about it, but he always had like little jokes that different people would make about how I'm really tall and I get things off of shelves for people, and I can tell that in the past maybe sometimes it made him a little bit uncomfortable. So would I be the bitch if I wore my gigantic platform boots to go see Last Podcast with my coworker?
Okay. I love this question because I'm also 5'9". I'm also 5'9", and I feel like we've had to we tall gals have to shorten ourselves for men all the time. I'm really having a bad time with men on today's episode. I'm really like
this aggression.
Really so now you're just gonna not wear what you want to wear so a man can. I mean, it depends. Like I hate to say it, but like, are you in a romantic thing with this coworker? It sounds like not. If not, if it was romantic and you could tell it bothered him, I'd be like, don't troll a guy that you're interested in. If it's a coworker, fucking do what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's a guy you're dating, I would still say do what you want, but also keep in mind that like at the beginning stages of dating, it's like there's a push and pull. Like, let's not, I wouldn't do something if like I specifically knew that a guy I was dating didn't like a band. I wouldn't like wear that band t-shirt on one of the dates. You know
that's
what I mean?
the thing. And a lot of people do go the route of they think that negging does get you everywhere. And man, it is just, that's such a choice for your life. But
it doesn't sound like this is
I don't think
romantic
that it is.
Anyway.
At least it's not, at least not coming from you or the way that you're talking about this experience that you're going to go have with this person. I would also say, you're going to be sitting for most of the time, too.
Yeah.
So I feel like it would be different. I would actually feel differently if they were standing the whole time.
Yeah, if it was like a concert or like dancing and you'd be like towering over him in like some kind of dance area or
Even
something.
though that, I would also then go back on that and be like, I would understand because you'd want to see better. So, of course, you're going to want to wear bigger shoes. But you are sitting through most of the experience anyway. And even beforehand, it's like you said, if it's not a romantic thing, or if you're hoping it's not a romantic thing, or if you don't think it's going to go that way, do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah. I think it's just kind of like.
Also, I bet the boots are fire.
Yeah, I bet they're great. It's not a question about bitchiness here. To me, it's just like, I do think that it's okay to be like, we can be fiercely independent, but we can also say, this person doesn't like it, so I'm not going to do it.
Right.
You know, like, but.
You gotta be goth.
I don't know. This is like a goth night. You got the perfect goth things to wear. You got to do it.
Yeah, and I feel like there's certain experiences that you go to that you want to dress for the experience.
Yeah.
This is it, man.
Yeah.
That you go and like, it's honestly, it makes me think of, it's always why I do like going to concerts, even though I've got a lot of issues with going to concerts. I'm not going to go down that road right now. But one of my favorite things is being at concerts with a bunch of people that are like-minded, that everybody's just like, I love what you're wearing. You look great.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, you go into the bathroom and everybody's like bumping each other up.
Seatmates based on what you're wearing and stuff.
That's going to happen at the last podcast show. So even if you just tell the buddy you're going with, like, well, you know, it opens up conversation. Wearing statement pieces helps you talk to new people and meet new people. And it does, like, it's a fun way to meet new people in your area. And that's part of the reason why you go to these shows, right? It's part of, like, also being around the community that also loves it.
Like, we have to normalize that people are different heights. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Plenty of hot men are 5 feet tall.
Or short.
Plenty of like this whole thing where like you feel the whole thing where we equate height with masculinity is so fucking tired. So why don't you be the first person to teach your coworker how stupid it is?
Yes.
Because it doesn't fucking matter.
No.
It doesn't matter.
Really
If he's shorter than you, what who cares? I don't care if he's 4'2". That's what you want to wear. I think you should do it.
But also, I understand, and I appreciate you thinking about it.
Thinking about how he feels. But just because he's made a couple jokes about you being tall or whatever, I think that's also, there's like an ingrained misogyny of like, oh, you're a tall lady or whatever. People have made comments to me about being tall forever too, you know? And I just think, fuck that noise. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
So stupid. I have a friend who's short who's married to a super tall woman. I have another friend, a very tall woman who's got a shorter boyfriend.
My brother and his wife. How many people asked Natalie for the wedding, like when they got married, that
are you going to wear
flats? Are you going to wear flats? You got to wear flats. And she's like, but I love heels.
I love heels. Why would I do that?
My husband loves how tall I what do you fuck off?
Yeah.
And that is such a weirdly inappropriate question.
It's also like, what are we, 3 years old? Like, are we 3 years old? Like, the prince has to be taller than the princess. And like, boys have short hair and girls have long hair. Like, it's very juvenile to me.
Yes.
So I know you probably didn't expect us to get into a full feminist debate about height, but here we are. And that's my bitchy problem.
And thank you.
But I don't think you're the bitch. I think you wear whatever you want. And guess what? Nobody really that called in today was the bitch at all.
No, love this. Wow,
maybe
guys.
Danny was a bitch for not liking the Barbie video, but I was like, you're the bitch. That's the bitch I want to hang out with vibes.
Come on.
Yeah.
No one's giving it up for I'm just teach.
Yeah. It's okay. You can be a bitch and go, I don't like this. I don't like what I'm watching here. Okay. So if you were watching our live stream last week, you heard us mention that we are taking a little break from the live stream for a minute, but we will still continue with these weekly episodes of the podcast every week. So if you have bitchuations that you want to run by us, you can leave us a voicemail, you can email us, you can DM us, and don't forget to follow our Instagram at Who's the Bitch LPN so that you can keep up to date with like when we have our next big live stream and what the future is for video content from us. Don't worry, we will be coming to you soon. And who'sthebitch.com has all that info. We love you. Thank you so much for writing in, everybody who did. And adios.
Bye, everybody.
This show is made possible by listeners like you. Thanks to our ad sponsors, you can support our shows by supporting them. For more shows like the one you just listened to, go to lastpodcastnetwork.com.